You are listening to Ivancast podcast. Welcome to another episode. Thank you so much for listening. There are people out there listening to this little podcast recorded in the Amazonian rainforest. You can call it the jungle podcast too, you know. It was a challenge to get internet here. So imagine what it's like to produce a podcast around here. So I'm really excited about today's guest. One of my favorite bands, the Mauskovic Dance Band, is on the show. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, get ready to hit the floor, get ready to dance with one of the most original bands out there. You know, they play a mixture of cumbia, champeta, Afro-Caribbean rhythms, space disco. You can hear synthesizers in their music, drum machines. You know, they groove. They definitely groove, and that's what I love about the Mauskovic Dance Band. The group is the brainchild of Nicola Mauskovic, an Amsterdam-based producer and multi-instrumentalist. So I'm on the phone with Nicola. This is going to be an exciting conversation. Nice conversation. We are going to talk about lots of things, and we are going to listen to their music. So enjoy the podcast, and thank you for listening. Beautiful sunny day over here. Nick, welcome to the podcast. Thank you for doing this, man.
Thank you.
Thank you for being part of the show. How are you?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. I'm at home a lot, like everybody else in the world, I think.
Yeah, we are all
like many
isolating.
People.
Yeah, practicing
Yeah.
social distancing.
Yeah, I must say here in the city it's a bit less tight than it was some weeks ago. But yeah, I mean, still not many people are out on the street and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for doing this. I'm a big fan of your music, and I'm really honored to have you on my little podcast. You know, I am in Ecuador. My podcast is recorded in the jungle. This is basically the jungle podcast, and you are in Amsterdam, right? Am I
Wow.
right?
Yeah, right in the center of
Yeah,
Amsterdam.
great. That's
The
cool.
opposite of where
You
you are.
Yeah, totally the opposite. So it's cool. We are connected through this phone conversation. You have one of the most original combination of sounds and vibes out there. I mean, it's like a sound explosion of so many genres. You know, Afro-Caribbean rhythms, Colombian music like cumbia and champeta, combined with techno,
Yeah.
synthesizers, dance music. It's like a fruit. I always like to think like a cocktail, a fruit cocktail of international sounds. So if you had to
Yeah.
compare your music to a cocktail or food, what cocktail would it be?
Um, well, maybe if it was food, a paella or something, or
Yeah, like a
something with
paella.
the fish and the meat combination, um,
Yeah.
which is kind of strange for me. I don't
Mhm.
understand why you combine food and fish, but
Mhm.
I mean meat and fish, but it's
Yeah.
still pretty good. And,
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah. And maybe
yeah.
maybe
I
the
mean, it's just
yeah. Go on.
I don't know. Sorry, continue.
No, I just wanted to say, and the craziest part maybe is that the music is not coming from Colombia or Nigeria, or it's coming straight from the Netherlands. Yeah, it's from Amsterdam. So, what are or what? Where does the love for this kind of music comes from? Like, how come that you've got so interest in, let's say, non-Western sounds?
Um, yeah, mainly because of the records that we listen to and we buy in the local record stores. Because I mean,
Hmm.
there's many record stores around my house selling music from every part of the world.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it automatically becomes a big influence from on our music. But mainly also, I used to listen a lot to only uh, Afro funk and Afrobeat from the 70s.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
really the foundation of the rhythms. And now I listen to all kinds of stuff. But that's definitely the start of the Mauskovic band.
Mm-hmm.
the
So do you?
African rhythms from the 1970s.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I also love that music, and so do you think maybe that the cultural diversity of a city like Amsterdam has some sort of influence in your music?
Um, yeah, I'm not I'm not sure if that's really the case because yeah, I think it's mainly the club scene and the record stores, and then I just really like rhythms. That's the main focus for me in music always, and you quickly find out that most music from Africa is very rhythm based. So
Yeah, yeah, rhythm
that's what
oriented.
draw me to there.
Yeah,
We have like in Amsterdam a lot of yeah,
Mm-hmm,
we have some Suriname people and a lot of Moroccan and Turkish,
mm-hmm,
but it's not, you don't notice so much the musical blend in the city. It's kind of separate scenes, I think.
mm-hmm. And what are some of the bands or artists that have influenced you the most? Like you said, African music, but maybe some names.
um, yeah, well, Francis Bebe,
Mm-hmm,
the
mm-hmm.
it's from Cameroon, I think.
Yeah.
He's really big influence because it's not traditional at all. It's very sounds very unique, and he uses a lot of weird electronic sounds as well. And you can hear it's very
Mm-hmm,
home recorded by one guy.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
This is what
Right.
I really like, but with a completely different view on music because he's yeah, he grew up in another Western country.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. I guess I suppose that you've also listened to a lot of Fela Kuti records.
Yeah, and I love the rhythms and energy, but I must say at some point I got a little bit not bored, but tired of the Afrobeat always with the same horn lines and
Yeah,
uh,
yeah,
the same guitar chords. But it's always
yeah,
good when I hear a Fela track still. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, Tony Allen, the Afrobeat legend, he just passed away a couple of weeks ago.
yeah, yeah.
It's
Very
really
sad because he
sad.
was super active.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really sad news. So I've read in one of your interviews that most of you are actually relatives, family members, and that you also
Yeah,
have different taste of music. Do you think that's part of the secret formula to create your unique sound?
um, yeah. Well, definitely live for the live shows it makes a difference because in the studio it's very studio recorded in my bedroom and stuff.
Yeah.
But for live, it definitely makes a difference. Yeah, that all the band
Yeah.
members have a different way of playing those parts.
Hmm. When did you
Like the
start
bass
making
player
music?
is very rock. Um, when I was, I think, around 12, just
12.
recording on an old computer. Yeah,
Hmm. And how long have you been playing together now as a band?
for three years in
3
this
years.
formation.
Uh-huh. But that's amazing, right? If I'm right, you have released one EP, one LP, and a couple of 7-inch singles. That's actually quite a lot for just a little over 2 years, 3 years. Are
Yeah,
you does it mean that you are making music
two
all the
EPs.
time, or yeah, or do you also have normal boring
Uh,
jobs?
well, not. I mean, no. The last couple of years we were fully focused on making music, but so yeah, there's some periods that everybody has to look for a job when there's less shows and stuff.
Yeah,
But uh, in general, it's our main occupation.
that's amazing. That's so cool that you have the opportunity to explore so many sounds and music.
Yes, I mean normally we're also on the road quite a lot, so it's
Yeah, Yeah, that was actually my next question. You've been touring quite extensively across Europe. Have you also been to African or South American countries? Like, have you been to Colombia already?
No, no, no. I would really like to go to Colombia, but we played in Mexico in December.
Oh,
Um,
last December.
that was the closest we got to the cumbia
Yeah.
lands.
Was nice. Was it a good experience?
uh, yeah, it was super cool to be in Mexico, but I noticed that um, the festivals that can afford flying bands over from other continents are kind of uh, the richer ones, and it's not necessarily the coolest audience for me. You don't. I didn't have the feeling we saw like the underground side of Mexican music or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it takes time to,
It was more
like.
international. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I also saw that you had actually also a quite extensive North American tour, and of course it got canceled because of the pandemic. So how are you dealing with this strange virus? Are you doing live shows right now on the web like a lot of artists, or uh, what is going on right now with your musical career?
It's just mainly at home experimenting in the
Mm-hmm.
studio with all kinds of tape machines and drum machines and stuff. Not many shows online. We did one
Yeah.
session for
Mm-hmm.
operator radio.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that was it actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Do
we're too
you
much
do you
maybe of a live band for that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So probably you're missing the the opportunity to play live. Do you record your albums, your songs to tape? Are they all recorded to tape?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. That's why we can
Yeah.
hear that amazing vintage sound. So maybe let's talk a little about that technical aspect, the techie part of the show. Let's say, um, I was watching your performance yesterday at the Da Costa School, and
Yes.
it sounded to me like you're getting really experimental with your jams. So tell us maybe a little bit about your gear, your hardware and software. What kind of musical instruments do you use to create your nice, let's say, vintage kind of sound?
Um, well, it depends, but in the studio, I use a lot
Hmm.
this old Boss drum machine from Boss, the
Hmm. Drum
DR
machines.
110, and
Hmm.
it's kind of like a pretty crappy plastic thing, but if you boost it really hard into tape, it sounds pretty
Yeah.
cool, and it has kind of a strange groove. And I record a
Nice.
lot of live percussions over this,
Hmm.
so kind of a blend of the machine uh, machine grooves with organic percussions is what I like.
Hmm.
Um, yes, and then mainly I just use one synth now, the Poly 800, and then I play a lot of guitars and bass over it.
Bass
And then in
guitars.
the mixing, fr- and then I have an 8-track tape machine where I record on, and then I
Mhm.
kind of dub mix all the 8 tracks with echoes and reverbs and stuff to give it some King Tubby space.
Mhm. Mhm. Talking about guitars and basses, are they all also vintage, old school guitars and basses and amplifiers? Can you tell us a little bit about that part of the music production?
No, not necessarily Vint. My guitar is an old guitar, but it doesn't really matter so much which guitar I use or bass, as long as
Yeah.
it's more the way I mix it and put it on the tapes that makes it sound old school.
Mhm.
You can make every guitar sound like a an old guitar, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. That's right. So actually, the best way to understand these technical aspects of music is to hear the results of that, which is songs like the one you are going to listen now, Tudo Bay. Probably my favorite track. The one that I actually heard for the first time 2 years ago when I discovered the Mauskovic Dance Band. Tudo Bay from his EP Down in the Basement. So enjoy the music and let's dance. Yeah, what an amazing track. We are back with the Mauskovic Dance Band. So let's talk a little bit about the creative process of writing your music. Do you have any sort of rituals, or where does your inspiration come from?
Uh, it's mainly now my record collection, because that's the only thing I'm experiencing. I'm not going out to clubs or anything, so I don't.
Yeah.
I don't really discover so much new stuff on the road, but it's mainly
Mhm.
rediscovering the records that I have. And yeah, I
Mhm.
also don't listen so much online. Because there's too much. You have too many options sometimes. I get
There is
kind
so
of
much out
lost.
there, right? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I also kind of get sometimes, I don't know if frustrated is the right sound, but it's just so much music out there. I wish I could find more cool bands, but there is so much, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was wondering, like, did you when you started making music, this project, did you wanted to reach something? Like, did you have some sort of big plan or expectations, or it just happened that all of a sudden you were reaching out a lot of people?
Yeah. Then there was not necessarily a plan or something at all. It was
Mhm.
kind of a surprise that that we got this attention and we are able to play all the places. It was really a
Yeah.
bedroom recording project, and
Hmm.
then we did one. I arranged one show through a friend in Switzerland that
Hmm.
worked at a record shop, Bungo Joe Records. Uh, so we
Yeah.
kind of have to form a band to perform the bedroom jams live, and that was the first gig we did, and then we got invited to release a record for that label, and since then it's
Hmm.
kind of moving from there. But it was
Yeah.
always beyond their expectations for sure.
Were you all born and raised in the Netherlands, in Amsterdam?
Yeah, all in or around Amsterdam.
History and roots of African American music, like in general. I would love to, like, maybe could you maybe explain a little bit to our audience that it's not so familiar with this kind of music? Maybe the differences or similarities between, like, the classic
Uh,
Afrobeat and the Afro-Colombian beat, no? Because they are actually not the same. So, what are some sort of the similarities or differences, or how they come together?
sorry, the interconnection got a bit lost. The similarities between African
Oh yeah.
rhythms
Oh yeah.
and Afro-Colombian, or
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Between the classic Afrobeat and the Afro-Colombian beat. Like, are they the same or similar or totally different?
uh,
Uh, can we talk maybe a little
uh,
bit about the history and roots of African American music?
yes. I think. I mean, I'm not an expert, of course, on this, but the stuff that I read about it was that, and
Yeah.
what you can also hear on the records is that the Afro beat from Nigeria, for example, is very a mix of Western funk uh, with the traditional record
Hmm.
rhythms, and the Afro-Colombian music seems way more traditional rhythms, but in a different played on different instruments. What I know um, from the gaitanos, the flute players with the big drums and stuff. But then also you have the from the champeta scene in Colombia, the Afro-Colombian music that's very inspired on Fela Kuti. Um,
Hmm.
so it's kind of a loop. It's kind of a loop. They copy each other in a way, but and that's what I really like. The Colombians that copied Fela Kuti.
Yeah, I mean, in Colombia we also have
Yeah,
so much music, so much great music. There are so many great artists from Colombia.
yeah, yeah. Of course, yeah. Still now, it's very. It seems like a super
Yeah.
vibrant music country. Have you ever been to the champeta parties?
No, no, I never been to one of those parties. Here in Ecuador, we actually have a variety of music too. Like, we have different regions, so we have African American music too, some African roots in the coastal region, and then you got the Andean music from the Andes, where they play
Hmm.
exactly the flute and kind
With
of
the flute.
it has some sort of a sad vibe, to it, but it's interesting. They have interesting rhythm patterns, and yeah, we also have one thing called pasillos, which are also quite popular. Yeah. So, who's responsible for your artwork? Because it's fantastic. I'm a very visual person, and they rock.
It depends on for each LP, it's a different person. Um,
You have
but
different people.
we try to we try to match it with the music that's on the EP. So, but I definitely like the last LP we did on Dekmantel. I really love that one the most.
Uh, yeah. Thank you so much for being part of this conversation. I don't know if there's anything else you want the
Yeah,
world to know about
no
the
problem.
Mauskovic Dance Band.
Uh, no, I think you explained it all very well. And the best thing is to listen to the next
Here,
song, I think.
yeah, absolutely. Let's listen to some music now. And where can we find your music? Can you maybe tell the people, are you on Instagram, Twitter, or where can people find your music and buy your music? We should support local artists now, independent music all over the world.
Yeah, on Bandcamp. Bandcamp, you can buy
Yeah,
everything that we released so far.
yeah.
That's the
Bandcamp
best way
is
to
a
do it.
great site. Most of the bands that I yeah, it's the best way to do it. Yes, you can buy their music. So go and check it out. And I think there are a lot of people in South America and Ecuador that also like your music, and they are going to be happy to hear this
Cool.
conversation and get to know you a little bit more. So yeah, thank you so much. Let's call it
Yeah,
a day
thank
and
you.
hear some music now. Okay,
Yeah,
bye,
good luck. Bye.
Nicola. Have a good day over there. Bye bye.
See you.